Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I am your host Suzanne and welcome to today's episode. Today's episode we're going to cover weight loss and why it works, why it doesn't work, the do's, the don'ts, the maybes. Again, just want to put a disclaimer here. I am not a doctor by any means. Please listen to what your doctor says. So we're just going to do a little bit of a recap and I'm going to go through the categories of habits that we spoke about. So based on everything that we've done so far up until this episode, we have talked about the categories of habits and how we can implement them and stack them on top so that they can be successful. And then I had a video on a grocery haul that I did and my meal prep and how maybe it can work for you and so on and so forth. So let's just recap the categories of habits. So I'm going to read it from my iPad, and again, if you follow me on Instagram, this is posted on my Instagram. Feel free to take a screenshot to use this as we go along. So let's talk about that again. So the whole point of this was to keep it simple and sustainable. The categories of habits, and this is what we did. So the foundational habits, right? Drinking water, consistent sleep times, daily movement, not skipping meals. So those were your foundational habits, right? And these are going to be the important habits that support this lifestyle change that we're looking at. Then coming to the nutritional and meal prep, this is about making your list of groceries, getting your groceries, doing your meal prep, maybe cutting your veggies. All depends on what works for you. It like something that fits into your lifestyle. It's not something I do or somebody else is doing. If maybe just chopping vegetables and keeping them in the fridge ready to go works for you rather than making full meals and putting it in the fridge, by all means, excuse me, this is going to be what you're going to do in terms of what works for you and your lifestyle. Moving into movement and fitness. So again, it's the key mindset, right? Movement is something you will do regularly, right? So whether it's moving around in your house, whether it's up and down the stairs, whether it's laundry, whether it's going for a walk in your neighborhood. Most times here in Canada, because of the cold, a lot of us are not as active as we are in the summertime. So in order to get movement, you can do something small. Again, there are other people that can stick to fitness in the sense they can do their burpees, they can do HIIT training, but maybe you need to do less with it, which is low intensity, steady state. We'll talk about that a little later. So movement could be anything from dancing in your kitchen, dancing with your kids. If you're working from home and you step away from your laptop or your computer, maybe doing a few stretches, marching in place, high knees, whatever you choose to do. If you can't do it without holding anything, keep a chair in front of you and you can still do all these movements. Moving down the categories of habits, we're now coming to a mindset and mental wellness. Now, this one, what we're doing here is keeping that emotional state, right? Keeping ourselves motivated so that we're not burning out. So again, we're setting smart goals. We're making sure it's attainable, it's measurable. So we're not just constantly going at it. We have to limit that self-talk. So maybe gratitude. Wake up in the morning, be thankful for what you do. Again, this is just a recap of what we've already discussed. Lifestyle and environment. So we're basically, in my meal prep, I said I'm setting my environment up by creating and making these snacks. So it doesn't tempt me to go to the snack cabinet to open it up and take out a bag of chips or Oreos. I am I've got my veg, I've got my tuna dip, I've got, my hummus, and I can now have that instead of that. Or I have grapes or fruits, but they're already cut, they're already kept prepped in my fridge, so I know it's easy for me to grab and eat. Eating a bag of chips is easy too, but making those healthy choices so you're not always using your willpower. The first thing we do when we're hungry, we open the fridge, right? Or we go to the snack cabinet. So here we're going to make these adjustments and changes. And last but not least is growth and consistency. So again, weekly check-ins. Check how you did last week. Where was your biggest struggle? Maybe some alterations you can make. These are things that, this is like a checklist. That's why I say, if you have access to or have joined my Instagram, this is something that you can just pin for yourself. Take a screenshot, keep it for yourself, and keep assessing, going through those 6 categorized habits that I have there. That's going to help you. We're looking for consistency. We're looking for progression, not perfection. Okay? Working out should not be a punishment. Now let's come to the important topic, losing weight. So we're meal prepping and we're eating healthy. And the first 2 weeks in January, we weighed ourselves and we lost 2 pounds and we were thrilled. Week 3 came along, and at the end of week 3, we weighed ourselves again and we gained 3 pounds. So not only did we lose the 2, we also gained a pound. And now it's like, wait, what am I doing wrong? I am getting enough of sleep. I'm not skipping my meals. I'm eating, I'm meal prepping. I'm putting them in these containers. I saw Suzanne do that, and I'm doing everything, but I'm not losing weight. In order to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit. What does that mean? So I've put a link in the description of this video. So what you do is you either copy paste that link and go on your web or on your phone, and you're going to put your age, you're going to put your gender, you're going to select your height, your current weight, and your goal weight, and you're going to hit calculate. And once it calculates and you scroll down, it's going to tell you what your calorie intake needs to be. So is it, maybe it's 1600 because you're wanting to lose weight. It might tell you to stay at 2000 calories because you want to maintain weight. Now this is based on your data. There's a lot of websites out there. There's a lot of information out there. If you are burning more calories than what it's telling you to be in that deficit, you're also fatiguing your body, especially if you're just burning, but you're not doing all the other things. And it's important. So when you find out what your caloric intake needs to be, further down that list, it should tell you how many grams of proteins you need to take, how many grams of fat, and how many grams of carbs. And that will determine, again, based on whichever line item you pick, right? You want to bulk, you want to do it, it will tell you what to do. Once you get that, tracking your food. I use MyFitnessPal. This year, I am accountable to you. I'm going through this journey with you. We're going to lose the weight. We're going to get the body we want. But we're going to do it in a sustainable way where it's now become part of my lifestyle. I am not having to frown every time I have to do something or not have something, right? It's now going to become part of my life. So we're making it sustainable, and it's going to be a lifestyle change. And if that's something you're looking for, then this video is definitely for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to track our food. Now, when I had mentioned last week in my video, I've measured everything there in my containers and I'm putting it in the fridge. I know how many grams of protein I need in a day. I know how many grams of carbs I need to have in a day. I know how many grams of fat I need to have in a day. So I have set it up accordingly. and I will measure everything on the Sunday. They're in my containers now, and it goes into my fridge, and I have logged it. When I eat, I log it in my MyFitnessPal. You can download the app. It's very, very simple. My profile is public. It's SVM Fit Fuel Flow. If you want to follow me, if you want me to follow you, or you are looking to, get some help in staying consistent with what you're doing, by all means, I am there to help you. It is absolutely free. You don't have to pay for the app. You don't have to, there's no consultation with me. It's just a very generic question that you may ask and I'll have an answer to. Or maybe you just want, someone to check on you from time to time and say, hey, I noticed the last 2 weeks you haven't been filling in your MyFitnessPal. What's going on? Now, you have the app and you're filling in stuff, but you have to also be true to yourself. Okay, you've got to set your sustainable goals. So if you want to lose 20 pounds and you're like, okay, today is January 18th and I want to lose weight by the end of February, or by the end of March, I want to lose 20 pounds. Of course, if you do some crazy, ridiculous crash diet, you probably will, but that's not going to sustain you, right? There's going to be repercussions for it. So slow and steady, measurable. Like I keep emphasizing, it's okay to, adjust. And I adjust every month. So I do something for 4 weeks. If I really notice a struggle somewhere in the week, I will go back and see, what did I do, where did I struggle, and how I can tweak it or fix it or change it. And that's okay, because everyone's body is different. What works for me may not work for you, like I've mentioned before. Also, when you're looking at losing weight, like you may say, I don't know what you're talking about. I can't have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm doing intermittent fasting. You could do any diet you want, whether it's intermittent fasting, whether it's keto, whether it's paleo, whether it's carnivore, whether it's Mediterranean, whether it's a high protein, low carb. It doesn't matter what diet you're on. You will have that caloric intake for you to function. Also, you need to do this measurement every month because your body is changing. You're losing inches, you're losing weight, and also don't be nervous. Sometimes it's water retention. And and you're also gaining muscle, especially if you're lifting. If you're lifting heavy, you're doing stuff, your fat is converting, it's changing into muscle. So yeah, maybe the needle doesn't move or the scale doesn't move, but you've noticed, you're getting more shredded and toned and you're losing inches, and that's a good thing. Okay. Another thing that I do want to touch upon and talk about is, as women especially, we go through a lot of hormonal changes, and something that worked for you last month, now your hormones have changed a little and it's not working for you this month, and it's okay. So be kind to yourself. Always, always be kind. We go through premenopause, menopause, thyroid, other hormonal changes. It's hard. It's hard sometimes. And when you're doing this tracking, like for example, if you're a social person and there's a glass of wine every evening, track it. Track it. How many ounces? It's going to tell you if your body has extra sugar. Talking about sugar, when you have your breakfast, it's break fast. All night you are not eating. So when you wake up in the morning and you break fast, whether it's at 8 in the morning or it's at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, know what you're putting into your body. If you're gonna take a bowl of Frosted Flakes, and I'm sorry, I'm just throwing the name out there, or any cereal bowl, you're basically having sugar in a bowl. It's sweet. It's gonna spike your insulin. So if you are insulin resistant, or you have underlying diabetes or type 2 diabetes, see what you're doing. Again, I'm not a doctor, but just common sense. You want your insulin to stay steady. You don't want it to look like a heart monitor. Some of you, depending on where you are on your scale of sugar, might need to graze to keep that level of sugars. But for most people, if you have underlying issues like that and you are constantly eating, depending on what you're eating, your sugar spikes are going to look like a heart monitor. It's going to be low spike, low spike, depending on what you're eating, when you're eating, and how you're eating. So be mindful. You start your morning with some protein. So maybe 20 grams of protein if you can. So if you are a person who enjoys cottage cheese, for example, cottage cheese has about 14 to 15, maybe 16 grams of protein. And you have it on a slice of sourdough bread or rye bread, toasted. You want to add your fats to it. You have maybe a couple of slices of avocado on it. You want to add more protein, 2 eggs to go with it, or an egg to go with it. Right off the bat, you have just had some amazing protein to start your day and fill your day. So now you're not struggling with hunger, craziness, you're not hangry. You have that nice sustainable flow. And when lunchtime is approaching, or when you're hungry and you're having lunch, again, you've taken that protein intake, your salad or your veg, whatever, with a bit of carbs, some healthy fats in there, and you're good to go. So again, it's not difficult, but you need to look at it and see how it is going to work for you. If you are someone who is extremely sociable, and you're out of the house all the time, you may have maybe 1 or 2 meals at home, a grab and go kind of meal, or you're like, Suzanne, I'm not the kind of person that can prep these meals because I have nowhere to heat this up and eat. My job doesn't allow me to do that. There are so many other ways instead of going and having a hamburger or pizza, right? So again, I will be doing that in other videos, different foods that you can take, wraps, tacos, whatever. I will be doing a video on that for sure. Now, when you choose a diet, for example, if you're looking that you want to do a keto diet, that has to fit your lifestyle. It's not keto diet for a week. It's keto diet, that's it. When you are doing keto and you're doing clean keto, and you need to lose, like, say 50 pounds, I can guarantee you, if you're doing it correctly and the way it's meant to be, without the carb here and a carb there and something else happening and a glass of wine somewhere else, you will, in 2 to 3 months, lose a significant amount of weight, because now your body has burnt everything. It is now burning fat. You are in ketosis. Sorry, I'm getting checked out, and I also have a little bit of a stuffy nose because of my sinus. So think about it. Whichever, if you choose, I'm not going to do this high protein, low carb. Intermittent fasting works for me, which actually, by the way, is very good for those who have insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes and underlying diabetic. Again, this is research that I have read, and I'm saying, I'm not a doctor. If your doctor has told you something different, please listen to your professional, please listen to your doctor and or your dietitian, and listen to them and follow their instructions. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. It is important to set goals that you can attain. Don't punish yourself. Just because you had a bar of chocolate today or 2 bars of chocolate today, that you've got to do like 2.5 hours on the treadmill. No. It should never be punishment. A workout should never be punishment. It should be something that you enjoy doing. That's the only way it becomes part of your lifestyle. You enjoy doing it. Without doing it, you feel like you're missing something. So keep that in mind when you're doing that. And absolutely, like I, I, I maybe have a friend that you can, maybe do it with somebody. So you have a buddy, you guys are accountable. Um, I've done it all, from HIIT workouts to Orange Theory to F45 to intense workouts to having a personal trainer. I've done it all. It's not, for me personally, it was not sustainable. I would end up either injuring myself or because I was pushing myself too hard. Did I lose the weight? Yes. Did I get into the dress as I wanted to? Yes. But when you hit a certain age, some people, it works really well for them. They can do these things for like no problem, and others struggle. Now, also keep in mind genetics, DNA, um, your body type, all plays a huge part in losing that weight. So once again, as I leave you every time from here, be kind to yourself. It's okay. We're human. Today we didn't do it, we didn't track. That's okay. We'll do it tomorrow. But do it tomorrow. There's no caloric police. There is no police chasing you to make sure you've, put this information into your app. It's something that you want to do for you. So subscribe, follow, share, like, and if I have helped somebody, I'm grateful. I look forward to your comments in terms of what other topic you'd like to talk about. If there's something whether it's from cooking to yoga to breath work to journaling to meditation, let me know. If there's a lot of requests for that, I will absolutely set something up for everyone and we can do that together. So again, be kind to yourself, have an amazing rest of your Sunday, and hopefully, we're still on track and we're following our goals that we set in the beginning of the year. Have a great rest of your evening. Until next time.